fair Verona where we lay our scene. Beautiful poetry, immediately recognizable as the opening lines of William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, a timeless classic and a beautiful tragedy about two star-crossed lovers caught in the middle of a long and bloody feud between their two families. Hi, my name is Henry Emiliano. I'm a longtime volunteer here at Theatre Victoria, and this is the first episode of Backstage, a show aimed at showcasing the time, the effort, and the people that go into ensuring that live entertainment happens here in the Crossroads community. Now you may be wondering right off the bat, why did I open with what can only be described as a perfect recitation of William Shakespeare? And the answer is twofold. One, because William Shakespeare is public domain, so I can quote him ad nauseum without any fear of repercussions, either financial or legal. And two, and the most important one, is because today we are going to look a little bit behind the scenes at Theatre Victoria's upcoming production of Romeo and Juliet that's already in rehearsals. We had a chance to sit down with the adapter and the director, Mr. Tom Schilb, so here's a look at that.
My name is Tom Schilb, and I am the director for Theatre Victoria's Romeo and Juliet.
Fantastic. We're very excited about this show overall. So I think my first question that I'd like to ask is, was this already part of the season and you had a vision for it, or was this a contribution that you made to the season?
So about this time last year, so this would be in 2024, we were working to figure out what our next season was going to be, and we had a lot of fun doing A Midsummer Night's Dream. That we did that back in fall of 2023. And we very much wanted to see about doing a show that wasn't going to cost us a lot of money and also would kind of play to our strengths. And we kind of discovered that we've got some Shakespearean talent. So we selected this one. And it took some time actually to kind of land on a good vision for it, because it's one of those plays that's been around for centuries by this point. Are you going to try and do something new, or are you going to do a spin on an old favorite? We definitely knew too we weren't going to do something classical. We weren't going to set it in the Renaissance. So we decided to set it contemporary, or at least contemporary-ish.
Okay. So nice segue into kind of what we can expect in this particular production of it. So where can we expect the show to be taking place? What's going on?
It's going to take place in 1999. And I think I've decided we're going to call it Verona, Texas. Might be Port Verona, Texas. I'm not sure which one I like better. And we're reimagining the Capulets and Montagues, the two feuding families, as being from different schools. Think colleges.
Okay.
So what we're going to do with that then is we're going to use the frame of a football game to start off the action of the play.
Okay, so I'm thinking like Romeo's quarterback, Juliet is... What are we thinking?
Well, Juliet's definitely going to be a cheerleader, but I don't necessarily see Romeo as being that mainstream. I think it needs to be a little alternative.
Okay.
And then there's another suitor that Juliet has named Paris. Now, I think he's a football player.
Okay. Okay.
A safe bet, you might say.
So this may sound like a silly question on the surface, but Romeo and Juliet, you mentioned before earlier that it is something that's been around for centuries, it's been adapted in every which way. What was it about this particular show that's what's going to be our spring show at Theatre Victoria in 2025? What is it about that show that, out of anything else that Shakespeare's written or done?
Well, I can give you the real reason and the artistic reason.
Go for it. I like both.
The real reason is it's in everybody's mind. I mean, it's been done before. People have heard of it, you know. And, Theatre Victoria, we absolutely want to do something that our audience, which is the Victoria area, is going to be able to engage in. That's the real reason. But the artistic reason, of course, is that we are here in a time where there's lots of division. And, it's the kind of story that we keep telling over and over again, because I think, and this actually goes into the real reason, that there's something about it that we keep coming back to. And people think of a romantic show, they think of a romantic story, and they think of Romeo and Juliet. And I love love. Even if this particular story, I may have to give something away, it is a tragedy. Even the tragic love, I think, is just one of the finest qualities that we have in the human condition.
What are you excited about showing Victoria about this show?
When we did A Midsummer Night's Dream, I was just blown away by the turnout that we had. There was a part of me that was thinking, oh, we're going to get like 5 people. And we didn't. We got just as well as some of our other shows that season and better than others. And that shows me that there's an audience for this kind of thing in theater, in Victoria. That our audience here is, I'm not going to say more cultured than anybody thought, because that's not really fair. I think it's that our audience here has a wide range of tastes that they will come out and support. And I think that's fantastic. So that's tremendously freeing as an artist, because then that means you may have like a kooky, weird idea and think, somebody out there is going to like it. So maybe then we should give it a shot.
All right. Any last words for our social media friends on having them come out and see the show, what they should expect, what they...
I don't want to give too much away, sure. But my hope is to have a bit more spectacle than we had last time when we did Shakespeare. And we've got some interesting things that are coming up here in Theatre Victoria. I really can't speak about everything, but I will tell you that as far as Romeo and Juliet is concerned, this may be a little different than something you might be expecting.
All right. Well, we're excited. Tom Schill, thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the first and most important parts of tackling a show is to understand the script, not only to memorize the lines before you, but to understand the points, the feelings, and the emotions that the script is seeking to portray. This comes doubly so with a work like Romeo and Juliet. Shakespeare's works are widely considered some of the best uses of the English language, and it can be a very daunting task for stage newcomers and veterans alike to properly convey to an audience. So script work was step numbers 1 and 2 on the list of things to do when it came to this show. A Shakespeare boot camp to teach about the differences between verse, prose, and poetry, and the proper stresses for iambic pentameter, a favorite of the bard. As week 1 drew to a close and our cast began to consider themselves Shakespearean scholars, week 2 brought a new and daunting element: movement. You see, the ability to walk and talk is a vital tool for an actor, and to give us a better idea to the challenges facing our cast, we sat down with this production's choreographer, Olivia Mahan.
First off, we're going to start with a question that I didn't actually send you, just to make sure you're completely on your toes. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Olivia Mahan. I've been with Theatre Victoria for a very long time. I want to say I started when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I'm currently 24 years old. So it's a very long time that I've been a volunteer/member. I teach dance, and I'm a freelance choreographer. So a lot of what I do in the theater involves teaching dance at summer camps or for junior company, or even choreographing shows. Fun fact about me, I really love cats.
All right, well, great. Now we all feel like we know you better.
Yeah.
So to start off into the actual interview, Romeo and Juliet, that show isn't traditionally known for its choreography. So what is it about this particular adaptation that felt that it was a necessary component?
Well, so our adaptation is set in 1999, and our director, Tom Schlib, kind of had the vibes of like your typical 90s teen romance movies. She's all of that, all those types of things. And in the movie She's All That, there is this big choreographed dance scene at the prom. And so when Tom had seen that, he just kind of knew that he wanted that same vibe and aesthetic carried over into this show. And so he had asked me if I would be willing to choreograph a piece for the show, particularly for the Capulets ball, resembling the prom scene in She's All That. And so I agreed with it because I felt like it made sense.
Very cool. I love it. That's awesome. Well, I know we're excited to see it. Now, on the subject of 90s dancing, I'm a 90s kid. So without giving too much away, can you kind of indulge us a bit in some of the 90s things you might see? Like, are we going to see some Tootsie Roll action, some Running Man?
Oh,
and now for anybody who saw Addams Family, they will know that the electric slide was prominently featured
Yeah.
in the opening number.
Yeah, of course there's going to be some 90s dance moves. I don't know that it's going to be, a big group effort, but you might have to keep your eyes open for a cast member here and there that are doing some of your favorite dance moves for those of you 90s kids or 90s adults out there. But for sure, we're going to make sure to keep things as authentic as possible and teach everyone the moves, and you're going to have to look out. You just are.
Fantastic. All right. So you said you started volunteering when you were 18 years later. So
Oh,
over the last 18 years, we have been delighted to see you both behind the scenes choreographing shows as part of large ensembles and even leading shows, entire shows all by yourself in this last season. So out of any of those roles, is there anyone that presents a certain higher level of stress or difficulty throughout the process?
No, not a higher one. I'd say they're all pretty stressful in their own way. Leading a show is pretty stressful because it feels like a lot of the show is on your shoulders, in the sense of like, if you're not entertaining, people aren't going to spread the word and tell all their friends and family to come buy tickets. And so it kind of feels like if I'm not good enough, the show's not going to be successful, and my favorite place on earth isn't going to make the money that it needs to. So like leading a show definitely gives off that vibe. Being in an ensemble has its own stressors. You're creating the backbone of what story is taking place on stage. A lot of people don't really realize all the work that goes into being an ensemble member, but the ensemble is doing majority of the dancing, majority of the singing, and also majority of the acting, because we have no lines. Typically we have no lines, so everything has to come from here. And if the ensemble is boring, truth be told, this show is probably going to be boring, because nobody just wants to watch two people interacting on stage. They want a whole spiel. And then working a show is obviously super stressful, because you want to make sure that the work you're putting into it is going to pay off. And of course we have like a lot of first timers, or people that, especially in my case, being a choreographer, you're going to have inexperienced dancers. So you want to make sure that everybody feels as comfortable as possible going on the stage, that they also look their best. And at the end of the day, again, it feels like one of those things, if the choreography I'm putting out there isn't good, people aren't going to like the dances, and then they're going to be like, yeah, the music was great, but the dancing, so it just depends. And then of course I want the people that I'm working with to feel comfortable in the dance world. So it's my job to make sure that they feel comfortable doing what they're doing and that they love what they're doing. So I feel like each role that I've had throughout the theater has its own stress. I wouldn't say that one is higher than the other. They're all pretty stressful.
Well, piggybacking off of that particular part of the last part of your answer, as both a teacher and a choreographer, are there any tips that you can offer either aspiring performers to the stage who don't feel that they have those chops, or even veterans of the stage who've been volunteering here for years like yourself, who just don't feel super confident about their dancing skills? And you can do this one directly to that camera. You're talking to the people now.
Any tips that I have for people that don't feel well versed in dance, I would just say, if this is something that you are super interested in doing, honestly, maybe consider picking up a dance class of some sorts, even if it's just line dancing, or going to Starlight Dance Studio here, or even going next door to the South Texas Ballet Academy. They do offer adult classes, but just to feel comfortable with the basics and movement. And if that's something that you're not able to do, dance is for everybody. Dance was created by the people, for the people, so it needs to be given back to the people. And dancing is something that you don't need to be perfect at. It's just meant to be fun. So as long as you're having fun, you're going to look amazing. I swear you are. In your own way, you are going to look amazing. Just don't stress about it too much. You dance every day in your life. When you walk to the beat, you are dancing. So everybody knows how to dance, believe it or not.
Well, thank you again to Olivia Mahan, the choreographer of Romeo and Juliet, Theatre Victoria's next upcoming production. Any last words you want to give to the people?
Come check out our show, please, and thank you.
Absolutely. Olivia Mahan, thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Cool.
Week 2 got everyone out of their seats and out of their comfort zones. Scene blocking is the next step of a production and involves the director and the actors working together to better understand the motivations of the actions of the characters on stage. And sometimes, just to make sure that everyone is properly invested in the action, you've just got to have a dance party. And sometimes we dance party too much. But this is why proper stretching and a room full of understanding people is the best remedy for some of those stage frights.
And that will do it for the first episode of Backstage. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope that you continue to tune in as we progress on this new endeavor of ours. As we continue, we are going to take more looks at this developing process of rehearsals for Romeo and Juliet and all the productions that Theatre Victoria has in the future. And as we continue to grow, we hope to show you other organizations and all the hard work that they put into their productions as well. As we will end every episode, we want to send a heartfelt and deep appreciation and thank you to all of the hardworking men and women and everyone in between who give up their time and their talent to ensure that live entertainment is alive and well here in the Crossroads community. Be sure to get your tickets to see Theatre Victoria's Romeo and Juliet today. You can find your tickets online at www.theatrevictoria.org or by calling the Welder Center box office at 361-570-TKTS. That's 361-570-TKTS. Be sure to tune in next time. That's all for us today, and until next time, we'll be Backstage.